Hey, what's going on? Charles Austin here, and I need my microphone. There it is. Let's be fit forever. I was kind of had some technical difficulties here. I was getting some things set. Sorry about that. But I'm back again Saturday. You know, we do these streams every Monday and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central Time, and also every Saturday at 1 p.m. Central Time. So I'm back for another one. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about pre workout nutrition, right? So, obviously, if you're out there and you're training, you're exercising regularly, all of those good things, it may be beneficial to understand some of the things you should be putting in your body, prior to your workout session. So we'll talk about that a little bit today, and give you a couple of ideas and some tips on some things that you can start consuming in your regular diet before you work out. But as always, as I adjust my camera here a little bit, before we do, let's go ahead and make sure you remember, always make sure that you like the video that you're watching right now, because it is awesome and amazing, right? Be sure you subscribe to the channel. And then when you subscribe, also, you got to turn those notifications on so that you're always up to date with the latest content here on the channel. Again, streaming Mondays, Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Central Time, and Saturdays at 1 p.m. Okay. And such a beautiful image to start with, right? I always try to find something that's lovely to look at since we are talking pre-workout nutrition. As you see here, what do we have? We have some bananas, we got some bell peppers and grapefruit and some potatoes, all these different things up here. Yummy, yummy, yummy stuff, right? But anywho, let's get into the nitty gritty, right? So let's talk about some of the things that we should be consuming prior to our workout. And if you're not working out, right, obviously that's something you probably want to start doing like sooner rather than later. Start yesterday if you can. But anywho, let's start talking about a couple of things associated with what you should be consuming before your workouts, right? So let's start out here with carbohydrates, right? So this is one of the things. This is one of the nutrients, the macros, if you will. You know, you got your carbs, your fats, your proteins, and these things are crucial to making sure that your body has energy, your muscles have energy to perform the task at hand. It doesn't matter if you are jogging, running, swimming, lifting weights, doing a Zumba class, doing yoga. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Your muscles, your brain needs carbohydrates to make sure that it can execute the actions and the orders that it needs to do, right? So again, if you're new to the channel, if you've never watched the stream here, I like to always share some science-backed information and kind of explain it to y'all, because a lot of stuff out there, if you're not familiar with this stuff, you'll read it and then you won't exactly be sure what it is. So I do my best to make sure that I break it down so that you know exactly what it is trying to say, right? But anywho, again, if we're talking about carbohydrates, as it says here, your muscles use glucose, right? And glucose is basically carbs. We'll just say glucose and carbs interchangeably, right? Your muscles use glucose from carbs for fuel, right? And one of the things I always say, food is for fuel, right? It's for fuel. That's literally the purpose of food. Every time we put something in our bodies, your body is trying to figure out, how can I use this for some purpose, right? So your muscles use glucose from the carbs that you eat for fuel. And the way that we use that is that our glycogen, there's just another way glucose is processed. We'll just keep it like that, keep it super simple, right? Glycogen is the way our body processes and stores glucose, right? And we mainly store this stuff in our liver and our muscles, right? So again, whenever you're getting ready to do something, if you're, like I said, you get ready to go for a jog, you get ready to lift some weights, whatever it is, your body's going to start tapping into those glycogen stores, glucose stores, if you will. And we store some of it in our muscles and our liver, right? And as you start doing intense exercise and different types of movements and these things, your body will tap into those stores to give your muscles energy, right? So as it says here, for short and high intensity exercise, glycogen is basically going to be the main source of energy, right? So let's say you're going to do something where you're doing a sprint, right? Or maybe your exercise time is just very short. Maybe you're saying, oh, I need a quick 10 minutes, something like that, right? So when you're not doing long endurance type exercises, or your workout session doesn't last very long, or it's not that intense, you're going to be using different types of stores. But for the shorter things, right, we're going to be focused on using that glycogen, right? So before I move on, like, how much glycogen can you actually store, right, in your body, right? So just so you have an idea, okay? Now, depending on the person, all right, depending on their diet, depending on their genetic makeup, excuse me, we all are going to have different amounts of glycogen stores, energy stores, if we will. If we want to just think of glycogen kind of like as our exercise energy storage, right? We could think of it like that. Everybody's going to have a little bit different mixture, right? So as it says here, a well-nourished person, may have about 500 grams of glycogen storage, right? And of course, you can boost that even more if you're eating a carbohydrate-rich diet. Now, obviously, this is where things like the vegetarian veganism versus non-vegetarian veganism debate kind of comes in. Obviously, if you're somebody who is on a primarily or 100% plant-based diet, you're going to be consuming a large amount of carbs, right? So you're probably going to have a little bit more of those glycogen stores. So what does that mean? This is probably one of the reasons why many athletes, many professional performing athletes, competitive athletes, and even regular folks like you and I have noticed that, hey, if you change your diet to a primarily plant-based diet, one of the things you'll notice is that you have more energy regularly. I can speak from my own personal experience that once I was 100% away from meat and dairy, I've been fully on a vegan diet for about two and a half years, somewhere in there now. And I do remember that one of the things that happened immediately, once I cleared all of that stuff out of my system, was that my muscles had more energy. So doing things like bench pressing and squatting and jogging, things like that were a little bit easier just because my body was able to tap into energy a little bit more, right? But anywho, if you're wondering like, well, what is this storage? Like, how much is this storage? What can it make me do, right? So, in fact, your body can store a fair amount of glycogen, enough to fuel about a 20 to 30 mile run at moderate intensity, right? So if you think about that, that's a lot, okay? So you can store plenty, right? So the issue though can come in to where the fact that glycogen holds on to a lot of water, and then water has weight. So if you can only store so much and use so much. That's why your body's going to always use it whenever you're getting into exercise, right? So just wanted to give you a little bit of background on what glycogen actually is and why we're storing it, right? So again, carbs are going to be one of the things you're going to want to consume before you exercise to make sure that you have the fuel needed for your exercise bout, right? So studies have consistently shown that carbs can increase glycogen stores and utilization while boosting carb oxidation during exercise. This basically is saying that as you're consuming carbs before your workout, you can boost the amount of energy that your muscles can use when you exercise, right? And then they have this term called carb loading. That's something you may have heard of before. And this is basically if you're somebody who doesn't consume, maybe you don't consume a lot of carbs on a regular basis, or maybe you do. But basically what we're talking about is we're going to be increasing our amount of carbohydrate intake, for, a week or so, or a week or less. And you're doing that to increase the amount of exercise energy or glycogen that you have stored up if you're getting ready to do a lot of strenuous or intense long exercise, things like that, right? So number one, carbs. We got to have carbs. And then, like I said, later on, I'm going to give you some ideas of some things we can eat and to increase the intake of carbs. So carbs is one of the things we need. And the main reason why we need carbs is for energy for our muscles, right? Protein is number 2 on the list, right? So the reason why we start with carbs is because they're easily digested. Your body takes it in, processes it quickly, and can send it to your muscles fast, right? Protein's a little bit different. It takes a little bit more energy to break down, but you do need a good amount of protein before your workout as well. So you can improve your athletic performance, and this basically deals with the fact that eating protein, okay, either alone or with carbs, and I always recommend eating a balance, right? You don't want to just go all carbs. You don't want to just go all protein. You want to have a little bit of both, right? But eating protein prior to exercise has been shown to increase muscle protein synthesis. So what the heck is protein synthesis, right? So let's go there, right? What is muscle protein synthesis, right? I'll read a little bit for you and then I'll break it down in just a second. But as it says, from a physiological standpoint, our muscle tissue is dynamic and in a constant state of turnover. This basically means that throughout each and every day, whether you're somebody who trains or doesn't train, your muscle is constantly breaking down and rebuilding each day. You know, that's what our cells do. They're always breaking down old cells and getting rid of the old stuff and then bringing in some of the new stuff, right? So, when muscle proteins, with muscle proteins being synthesized and broken down throughout the day, oh, sorry, I missed my train of thought. Here we go. So basically, when we're talking about muscle protein synthesis, it's basically breaking down your muscle and rebuilding, right? So that's what we do when we train. When we do weightlifting and training in that nature, we basically are breaking down our muscles in order to make sure that they rebuild stronger, right? So protein synthesis is basically saying, hey, all right, I'm going to rebuild my muscles. I'm going to grow new muscles. I'm going to have anabolic muscle building, right? We don't want to have catabolism because that means we're breaking our muscles down. We want to be anabolic when we go with building up our muscles, right? So as it goes on to say here, basically muscle protein synthesis is a metabolic process that produces muscle protein, facilitating the maintenance or building of muscle mass, right? So anybody who's training, working out regularly, one of the goals that you should have, hopefully you do, is to have a building of new muscle mass. And consuming protein before your workout is something that you can do to help that process along a little bit, right? So again, as it says here, other benefits of eating protein before exercise include, like I said, that anabolic response that we just talked about, muscle growth, improve muscle recovery. So even think about inside your workout, all right? So if you're training 30, 45, 60 minutes, right? There's going to be times when your muscles are depleted of energy, right? They're being broken down. Well, you can improve your muscle recovery inside your own workout if you have the right amount of proteins, being consumed prior to your workout, right? Increase strength and lean body mass. Obviously, those are some goals that you should have if you're training regularly. And then increase muscle performance. So obviously, it doesn't matter if you're running, jogging, swimming, weightlifting, doing a Zumba class, boot camp, whatever. One of the goals you're going to have is to make sure that you have increase in proper muscle performance. So obviously we want to make sure that we're consuming protein prior to our workout. Last but not least, a lot of people probably say, well, I don't need any of this, right? I don't need any of this fat, right? Fat is bad, bad, bad. No, if you've been paying attention at all, you know by now that we need plenty of fat in our diet. Matter of fact, if we break down it on a percent scale, the fat that you need to intake is actually higher than the amount of protein. Protein is the last macronutrient that you actually need to consume regularly as far as a percent scale. You actually need a little bit more fat. But the main thing about fat is, remember, we talked about glycogen already a little bit earlier when we talked about carbs. Remember, glycogen is basically exercise energy, right? Okay, so carbs, glycogen, they work together, right? Fat basically is like the backup, okay? So, as it says here, while glycogen is used for short and high-intensity bouts of exercise, fat is the source of fuel for longer, moderate, low-intensity exercises. So, in a nutshell, once your body says, hey, I've used up my glycogen or my exercise energy, I've used it all up, now what am I going to use for energy? Because protein is not going to be the one, right? If your body is ever using protein for energy, you have a problem, all right? And that's not a good thing, right? So we should only always be using carbohydrates first and fat number 2 for energy. So again, main reason why you need fat, a little bit of fat in your pre-workout nutrition is to make sure you have a backup. Because if that exercise session, like if you go for 20 minutes, for example, if you go for 20 minutes, maybe fat's not that big of a deal. Because hey, I'm training for 20 minutes. I have enough glycogen stores to last me, right? But if you know that exercise session is going to be 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes, maybe even longer, you're going to want to make sure you have a little bit of fat in your pre-workout nutrition to have your backup energy source once your glycogen stores are gone, right? So once you use up those carbs, you're going to need that fat to be your backup, all right? Oops, didn't mean to go there, excuse me. So the other thing is the timing, right? And I'm actually going to read y'all an excerpt. Yeah, man, I'm going to read you an excerpt of my book, 85-15 Diet Plan, right there, as you can see, plain and simple, right? So I'm going to read a little excerpt out of here to explain about the timing, right? So as it says here, we're talking about, can y'all see that? Before and after workouts, right? So, where is it? So, as it says here, with pre-workout meals, the first thing to consider is how much time you have before your workout will start. So when y'all are thinking about your carbs and your fats and your proteins and all this kind of stuff, and you're saying, well, hey, what am I going to consume? Well, the first thing you need to consider is how much time you have before your workout will start. So if you know you're about 30 to 45 minutes out, eat a meal that can be easily digested, right? I feel like I'm doing story time, like with like little kids or something like that. But anyway, so again, if you're 30 to 45 minute window, if you're 30 to 45 minutes out, eat a meal that can be easily digested. So things like smoothies and shakes, fruits, nuts and seeds are generally going to be good options. But if you have a little bit more time, you can eat a little bit heavier, right? So if you're kind of in that 3-hour window, maybe that 2 to 4 hour window, you can kind of have like a regular meal. So carb and protein combinations like if you're like chicken and pasta, turkey and rice, seafood and noodles and things like that could be good ideas, right? Neither method is necessarily better or worse than the other. It just really depends on what fits your routine the best, right? So that's literally a paragraph straight out of the book explaining how this works. Long story short, the sooner you're going to eat for your workout, the sooner your workout is, as it relates to your timing of your eating, right? The lighter the meal should be. So if you know you're in like that 30-minute window, maybe even up to an hour, you shouldn't be consuming something heavy, right? Because once you go to the gym and you start working out, your body is using energy to process that food and churn that food into liquid so it can digest it. And now it's taking energy and focus away from your muscles, which is where you want it, okay? But if you know you have plenty of time, by all means, you can eat a little bit heavier. That doesn't mean eat something that's unhealthy. It just means you can eat a little bit more of some of the foods that you should be consuming anyway. So hopefully that makes sense. Again, hey, you can check out my 85-15 diet plan. I'll show you where to find that once we wrap up here today, all right? But anywho, let's go ahead and get ready to wrap here. I wanted to give you a couple of ideas of some things. And yes, I went straight to the vegan site because, like I said, if you focus on consuming foods that are plant-based, your body's going to absorb them better. All right. Your muscles will thank you, and so will your heart and your blood vessels, right? And these are many of the same things that you're going to probably consume on your daily basis anyway, right? So here's some things to consider as far as pre-workout nutrition, some ideas, right? So what they're talking about here, if you can see, they're talking about low GI carbohydrates. And again, anybody who's checking out on Facebook, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you can see the screen share. So that I'm providing some information here that you GI glycemic index just basically means, hey, if you eat a certain food, it may spike your blood sugar faster than others, right? So some examples of low GI carbohydrates include things like sweet potatoes, brown rice, oats. And one of the things I like to do is, like before my workout this morning, before I went to the gym today, I made a smoothie. I had blueberries, I had strawberries, I had spinach, I had kale, I had arugula. I put all those into the blender with some chia seeds, and I also put some rolled oats. Put it all in the blender with some pineapple juice and some orange juice. Blended it all up, drank that down about an hour before my workout. So again, oats is another good one. As you can see here, other things listed here are different types of legumes, all easy, low GI foods, which means it will not spike your blood sugar fast. it will kind of like steadily rise with your blood sugar. So basically, if you can't quite understand what low GI and high GI means, compare and contrast drinking like a Coca-Cola product, right? Or a Sprite or something like that. Lots of sugar, right? So that's going to be a high spike on your glycemic index and a high crash. These foods are going to be the opposite, right? If you're talking about some protein sources that also have carbs, plenty of legumes, lentils, right? So we got black eyed peas, pinto beans, kidney beans, things like that, right? So if you're trying to get something in that area, you can have like, maybe like a beans and rice. Easy, very, very light. You could do that if you have a couple hours before your workout, right? Protein sources, if you're going for a little bit lower on the carbohydrate spectrum, things like tofu is a good choice, and different types of vegan protein shakes. Definitely, if you ever look into getting like a plant-based protein powder, go for pea protein, PEA. Go for pea protein. Try to stay away from the soy as much as you can. You can have it in moderation. Tofu in moderation, things like that, or even rice protein are some good examples as well. Other good things to consume before your workouts: beetroot, excellent vasodilator, helps increase blood flow to your muscles. Caffeine, believe it or not, sometimes I like to have a little coffee. Like I'll make like maybe 6 ounces of coffee, not like a full cup, maybe 6 ounces of coffee, knock that down. Plus, I'll have that with like my smoothie before my workout as well. So coffee, tea, green tea extract, things like that would be some other good ideas, right? On this website, they're listing creatine monohydrate. I'm not really a fan, so I'm going to move on, right? But sometimes if your exercise session is going to be very, very intense, what you can do is go for some of these high GI carbohydrates. We're still avoiding things like sugar, straight, processed sugar. We're still avoiding that. But some fruits and vegetables have a higher GI, which means they'll spike your blood sugar a little bit faster. So some of those examples could be bananas, mangoes, pineapples, watermelon, dates, things like that. So those are just some examples of some foods that you can consume. How did that get there? Yeah, there we go. Those are just some foods that you can consume prior to your workout. And again, we want to have a healthy balance of carbs, fats, and proteins. Woohoo! All right, so we're going to do Q&A in just a second. As always, at the end of every live stream, live Q&A, ask me anything. It could be about what we just talked about, and it could be about something that maybe you've been wondering about. Doesn't matter. Whatever's on your mind. If I can answer it, I'll do my best to answer it. But I did want to make sure I reminded y'all that today, actually probably in about 90 minutes or so, we're going to be doing my free nutrition and weight loss workshop. We're doing this as 2 parts. So we got day 1 today starting at 3 o'clock Central Time, 3 p.m. Central Time. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and put yes in the comments below and I will send you the link. I've already sent the link out to quite a few already. So we'll see who joins, right? Free nutrition and weight loss workshop. We're going to be at 3 p.m. today and we'll be at 3 p.m. tomorrow as well. So keep that in mind. I put that on Facebook as well. So again, if you're interested, put yes in the comments. Like you said, we got about 90 minutes. Put yes in the comments and I'll be sure to send you the link. And then also, I'll remind y'all at the end of every video as well, if you go to fitnesscharles.com, all right, in order to enter my Fit Forever raffle, it's very simple. Keep in mind that we're doing the drawing on July 1st. So that's coming up like, I think the end of next week. Yeah. So we're doing the drawing live on Facebook and Instagram. So enter the raffle. So you got about a week left to enter the raffle. And what do you win, right? What do you win if your name is drawn, right? Well, basically what you're going to be winning is my 12-week transformation experience, which is designed to help you lose 10, 20, 30 pounds over a 3-month period, right? But the biggest thing that's involved here is that you're going to learn the skills to be fit forever. That's why I call it Fit Forever Family. I'm different than everybody out there. I see you as a client. I only want you once. I do not like repeat customers. There's no point. I don't want a repeat customer. I only want you to go through the process one time and learn everything you need to be fit for the rest of your life, right? And these are skills you can learn to teach your family, your children, husband, wife, whatever it may be. Skills that you can learn to teach your family forever, right? So again, single entries, double entries, triple entries, however you want to do it. Once you enter the raffle, there's ways for you to get other free entries as well. So it's very simple. Some of the things that we'll get that's included in this 12-week experience. And here's my big one. My 14-part transformation education series. So if you think I'm dropping some nuggets here on YouTube, I'm giving you all the goods in the education series. So we'll talk about how to read nutrition labels. We'll talk about how to grocery shop. We'll get inside the psychology of weight loss and transformation of your body. We'll talk about how exercise works and how it should feel. All these different things. 14-part education series. That's why I say I'm teaching you how to be fit forever, right? So again, we'll set up nutrition plans, workout plans. I'll give you recipes for smoothies, all these different things. Again, if you have questions about that, y'all know how to reach me, okay? So again, we're doing that drawing on July 1st. That's coming up. We're going to do that live on Instagram and Facebook. I haven't figured out a time, but we'll figure that out throughout the rest of the week. So you still got time to enter that raffle now. Okay. So don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter at Fitness Charles. Again, you can go to fitnesscharles.com to find anything that you need regarding me and my products. Oh, also, I forgot to show you, for everybody that's watching on YouTube, I forgot to show you. Simple. You want to check out that 85-15 diet plan that I was just reading an excerpt from? There it is right there. All you got to do is go online. And it's right there available for y'all to get right there. Very simple. Click books. Bam. You got it. Okay. But again, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on. Live streams every Monday and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central Time, Saturdays at 1 p.m. Central Time. Again, free nutrition and weight loss workshop starts today in about 90 minutes. If you would like that link, comment yes in the comments and I'll send you the link. I'll see y'all next time. I'll see y'all, some of y'all I'll see you in 90 minutes. Otherwise, I'll see you on Monday at 6 p.m. Have a good day. Remember, always be happy, be healthy, and be fit forever. Bye-bye.